Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I got some more stuff in the book for you, so let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune into receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission. And that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment, knowing yourself a little bit better. Right thinking way of life, through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get that together. So I ask you the question: do you know you? You will when I'm through. It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. That's what I do for you. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to Maya, be true. Excuse me. I'm finishing up this lesson about the Pharonic royal calendar, and I'm gonna give you some chronological dates. It's the Pharonic royal calendar, based on what they call the Great Year, used by our ancient Egyptians, and I'm gonna give you the chronological breakdown of what they call the Great Month. Good stuff, good information. Let's go. Now I'm teaching. Hope you're learning. The Pharonic royal calendar was based on the Sothic system, which is the star Sirius in the sky, containing cycles of 1,460-year cycle, was in use by 4,241 BCE. Now, this certainly requires what? Extensive astronomical skills and knowledge of time and for observation with the naked eye. The Sothic system is based on the heliacal, aka, in essence, appears in the sky just as the sun breaks through the eastern horizon. And that ain't what happened, but I got another lesson for that right now. But rising on the star Sirius is the eastern sky, signaling what? New Year. As well as the indonation season, meaning it's time to start planting. So therefore, the history of Kemet, again, the real name, must be reckoned to be extremely what? Ancient. That means old as hell. So they've been around a long time. Thus, in order to grasp the antiquity of the ancient Egyptian culture and religion and their philosophy, we will now review their calendar system and was used by the ancient Egyptians. So it'll be interesting. I thought it was, again, the calendar based on what they call the Great Year. What's the Great Year? The Great Year was also used in ancient Egyptians. The Great Year is founded on what? On the movement of the earth through the constellation, which we know as the zodiac, known as the precession of the equinox now. We know it that way, but back then it was known as the precession of the equinox. We see it going one way. When you recognize it, it's going backwards. Why? Because we just came out of Pisces, and Pisces goes this way, And behind Pisces is Aquarius. So that we're going to Aquarius, and then we're going back to Capricorn. So it goes front perception, then it goes around. They call it the perception of the equinox. Just little astrological stuff that I've learned, picked up. I'm not proficient in it, but I know about it. Sorry, excuse me. It is confirmed. There you go. That's what I like to hear. By what? History, and given by the ancient Egyptian priest Manetho in what? In the year 241 BCE. He studied his history. He handed down. And what does this mean? Each great year has 25,860 years to 25,920 years. And it passes through what they call, what? The 29 years. 12 arcs of constellation, aka zodiac. They knew about it. Okay, they had already figured out a long time ago. How about that? Okay, now for each passage through each constellation, know how long it took? 2,155 years. Like we just came out of Pisces after 2,160 years. All we know is Jesus. All we know is Christ. Why? For 2,000 years they crammed it down our throat. But guess what? Now we headed for it. Passing that by, moving, what? It's gone. It's over. Now we heading into what? Aquarius. Information. They already knew we was headed this way. This ain't the first time we've been here. That's the first thing. But guess what? Now everything is informative. 10,000 years ago, know what we was doing? Leo the Lion. Why? That's the constellation we was in. And after that, I forgot to get a little lesson last time. Leo the Lion and the Sphinx, I'll say that for the next lesson. The Sphinx is a woman. I kept. The T makes it female. Moving on. It went by a few names, and one of them was a female. And that's my man, Kwame, my man, he's good at that. But watch this. And these are what they call the great months. 12 of them make a year. Go ahead, boy. I'm doing this damn thing. So remember, each zodiac sign has its own 2,100-year existence that will be in that sign. During the day, during the course of this day, a week, whatever, every zodiac sign gets, 2.5 days to be in that sign during the month. Moving on. So, this is the months of the great year. So now the current cycle, or what? The year began at around 10,858 BCE. That's just when the damn Sphinx was erected. They had more stuff going on before that. Don't even count that. Well, we can't prove. Okay, but we know if we built the Sphinx in 10,000 years ago because we was in the zodiac sign of Leo, don't you think we had enough wherewithal to have that knowledge at that time? What do you think we lost? Oh yeah, we did. I forgot. Stolen? No, not forgotten knowledge, forbidden knowledge, lost knowledge, whatever the hell you want to call it. We had that knowledge a long time ago. That's my point. I'm learning. I'm proficient in it, and I'm just as knowledgeable as anybody today with their modern knowledge. How about that? Moving on. So, 10,800 BCE. They don't even tell you about that. I tell you, my yacht goes 10,000. Okay. I'm being nice for 5,000. They don't give a damn. Why? They got proof. They ain't got to assume. That's why. Okay. Now, this is about what? The year 36,766 BCE. And what is that? According to Manetho's math, the creator, Ra, ruled and walked the earth in person from his throne in ancient Egyptian city called Anu. Sound familiar? We're using the book, the Anuian Theory. And you got the boys, here we go. The Greek called it Heliopolis way back then. The Greek was renaming everything we told them. They renamed everything. And everything we know now got to be according to them or by them. Okay, what? We wasn't big on telling everybody about nothing except our people. We didn't run around town. We Greeks, we know this, we got that, da. Moving on. But if you start getting the truth, I tell you, want to know history? Start with the white man. and start going back in his history. And what's going to happen? He going to start getting black. Moving on. And they said he created Ra, but in Anu, meaning the first place, the Greeks called it Heliopolis, city of the sun. We called it Anu, meaning the first place. Y'all called it what y'all wanted to call it. It's still doing that to this day. Moving on. That's my point. It ain't just start. By this reckoning, what's this? Our current year at 2000 ACE, okay, is actually the year, you ready? 38,766, based on what? The great year system of our ancient Egyptian philosophy and concept. But when you in control and in power, you don't give a damn. You're going to do what you want to do. Time was going back. When we got to zero, we're going to go forward. Okay. They got control. Who's to say whatever? So that's what I said. If you do it the way they're doing, we still be at 38,000 rolling. All right. But the period of 36,525 years is, guess what? You know what that is? Check this out. This is going to be nice. It is also 25 times what? 1,460 years, which is a month. Which is what? The cycle of the Heliacal rising of what? Sirius, which takes what? 11460 years. The Syrian calendar was another time reckoned system based on, again, the star Sirius and its relation with the sun. The sun don't move. Everybody else does. Sun don't rise or sunset. I just found that out, so I'm just throwing that in there. My man, I love that guy, Neil deGrasse, because the Earth spins the tilt. The sun is never going to shine on everything. Why? Because the tilt and where it is, we're rotating, so we turning around the sun. That's why we get day and night conceptually. Moving on. Get your astrology on board. All right, where we at? But now watch this. It works in concert with the sun, or what they call the solar system, with what? Which contains a cycle of 1,460 years. Cycle. And what? An inscription. Here we go. In Censoris, in the form, what informs us that what? The rising of the Sirius star occurred in what? 139 ACE. Tack on something to that. What that mean? That means that the Syrian cycle also occurred, watch this, in the years 1321 BCE, again 2781 BCE, again in 4241. Sounds familiar? Now they don't go no further back than that. They stop at 42, okay? But guess what? If it's circular, it's going to keep continuing on and on. Hello? By means of what? Two inscriptions from who? The 18th dynasty. It has been reliable and established that the date for the 18th dynasty, watch this, was actually 1580 BCE, and the first variable use of the said calendar occurs in the year, you ready? 4221 BCE. And the calendar is based on the great year. It was also used by our ancient commissions. The great year is what is based on the astronomical movement of what? The earth through the constellations up in what we call the heavens, the universe, the sky, known as the precession of the equinox. It is confirmed by the history given by our ancient Egyptian priest Menetho way back then in the year 241. Each great year has 25,860 years to 25,920 years. Watch this. And it has to go through what? 12 arcs, or the constellations, and each passage through the constellation takes exactly 2,155 or 2,160 years. Ain't that what we just came out of? So it's a proven fact. What you got to do is keep running the number back, and I'll tell you how far back we go with our ancient Egyptian concept. Can the Sumerians do that? Moving on. I got a problem with that. Stop. Let it go. And these are what? These are the great months. Again, we just went through the sign of Pisces. But now, if you in that great month, you can't substantiate that concept. Or if you ain't had that great month yet, you don't know it. But once you realize it and you can count it back, that's proof. That ain't belief. Okay, that's facts. Moving on. That's what you want to deal with right here. I'm about to bring the numbers to you. And because we deal with according to and this and that, we don't want facts. Facts are too on point, too precise. But this is what we got for you right here. Let me wrap this up. And these are, watch this, the great year, the great months. We just left right out of it. And turn it over to the next great month. Aquarius. The current cycle or the year began around, you ready? The year 10,858 BCE. What? According to what? The records based on Manetho's what? History, from what he was told. If we take that average number of years in the great year and you add it to what? To be known year of the beginning of the current year, what happened? We will get a total of 36,748 or 25,890 plus 10,858. It'll equal 36,748. Now, if we compare this number with said history of Manetho, we will find what is a difference of, you ready for this? 18 years. Not 50 years, not 100 years, 18 years difference in the years, accountable by the deterioration, and that's accountable, that's giving way to what? The deterioration and the mistranslation of the records and the variance in what? The numbers of years of the great year cycle. Remember, it's a 56 year variant in between, and we know that they give you that. Thus, now we have matched what? The support, the proof, the history, and the practice and the record time and keeping by the great year. So now we have reliable confirmations that the Sarin calendar was in use in ancient Egypt at least as early as 4,241 BCE, if not longer, and we know it is. They just don't have the records of it. And what? And that a greater form of record keeping and the greater year corroborates what? The history of Manetho. And they got a lot of it right. Whoever copied it got it pretty much right. It was what? What takes ancient Egyptian chronology, history, and civilization and use of mathematics, astronomy, and time records back to what? 36,748 BCE. And this longer deterioration cycle system of time-keeping records was supported by what? By recent discoveries. Say, what? I got one more page for you. We almost home. I'm loving this. That the Egyptians handled astronomical cycles of what? Even greater duration is indicated by what? The inscriptions recently found where? In by Soviet astrologies in what? Newly opened graves. There you go again, opening them graves during the period of their work in the Aswan Dam. Another lesson there too. We got history all over down that place. Here, what? The cycles appear to cover a period of 35,525 years, which would be the equivalent, you ready? To 25 cycles of the 1,460 year month that we make. It takes 12 of them to make a great year. So we done went through about 2 years now. Going on 2 years. 25 of them cycles. That's going around. Like I said, we done been here before. This is the second go around. And it's the proof is why the apparent discrepancy of what? Of 1 year in this recording of cycles. Watch this. You know what that's due to? I love it. To the solstice cycle of the what? 1460 years being the equivalent of a civil cycle or a month of 1,461 years. But remember to count for what? Leap year. And according to Mook, there were 3 main cycles, one of 365 days, the years of 4 of them makes up what? 1460. Another 1460 number, you take that and you multiply it down 25, you're going to get 36,500. And a third of the 36,500 times 5 equals what? That 1,082,000, what? 18,200 and hold on time. Okay, 182,500 years. That's a long ass time. That's our history, people. From us, not them. They won't tell you that. Moving on, let me wrap this up. Now, it has been proposed as a support to use the great year calendar that the ancients used, instituted the use of different symbolisms in religion and even government in what's in accordance with the current symbolism of the particular age in question. Thus, during the age of the great month, watch this, prove my point of what? Leo, here we go. Driving it home now, I'm making it to my point. The lion symbolism was used everywhere. My man's a Leo. He had lion every damn thing. No offense, no problem. Why? That's how they are. That's what they do. I ain't got a problem with that, okay? The Egyptians did it, okay? So why I got a problem with somebody who's a Leo bragging about, I'm proud of being a Leo? What is compelling about what this rationale is what? Is that the new evidence that's in reference to the age of the Sphinx, it directly coincides with what? The commencement of the new great year in the age of Leo. I told you, my man, the computer trace back. We want to recognize where's the other Sphinx, where's the other lion, since they're supposed to be twins in the constellation. Hope you understand that. I love that lesson. That's true knowledge. And watch this, which began when? 10,800. The numbers match. The occurrence match. What that tell you? If it waddle like a duck and it quack like a duck, shoot the hell out of it. Why? It's a duck. Moving on. That's my point. When you can substantiate the argument, prove the concept, that's what it is. Moving on. No arguments about that. Now watch this. The date goes back to 10,800. That's just the Sphinx. That matches up with the what? The constellation. That's what we live by. That was our timekeeper. And however, watch this. When it is understood, what with knowledge of this understanding, that the damage on the Sphinx would have to have required thousands of years for it to be damaged to produce and what? And when the history, it required thousand years to produce what? And when the history of Manetho, as well as the conjunction of the Sphinx with the constellation of Leo, when it makes its Helectric rising at the beginning of each great year, it becomes possible to what? Envision the possibility that the Sphinx was and actually was created at the beginning of the previous great year anniversary, 36,748 years ago BCE. And they don't want to tell you that. The facts say that. The Great Sphinx and its attendant monuments, as well as other structures, what? Throughout Egypt, which appear to be what? Compatible, compatible and architecturally should therefore be considered what? As part of a pinnacle of highest culture that has reached well before the dynastic age. So what we know about them, we was way before that. In essence, previously to what? The little funky 5,000 BCE time that we keep track of about the Egyptians. The form of the Sphinx itself is older than that. And displaying what? The lion body proves it. Why? Because with the lion body, with the human head, but also with the particular lionin headdress, I'm going to break that down. That's the next lesson. I'm taking you there. We're walking through this book. Now, including what? The lion's mane, we'll get to that in a minute, was adopted by who? The pharaohs, okay, of the dynastic period. Okay, it's been handed down. And in ancient Egyptian mythological systems of government, what? The pharaoh is considered as the what? Living manifestation of Haru. And he or she, got it, wills the spirit, wills lion power, which comes from what? The sun, Ra, in order to what? Rule. The sun disk is the what? Conduit through which, through which the spirit transmits what? The life force energy throughout the world. So in essence, the lion power from up top and this force, the Sphinx, the lion force, the lion power and this force is what? Is assessed by what? Turning toward the divine in what? The form of the sun. When I'm pointing up, that's where the sun is. That's what I'm pointing up to you. So hence, what? The orientation of the Sphinx toward the east, which is supposed to be the rising sun, facing the rising sun. All of this mystical philosophy makes a lot of sense to me. And more is what? Contained in the symbolic, metaphorical form and the teachings of the Sphinx. I'm about to take you there. Thus, we have a link of what? The great year. In remote antiquity, we have the proof. Other ages and the symbolisms of the zodiac that have been identified include the ram and the bull, which is Asar represents the bull and Amun represents the ram. That's the lesson. Oh, I got some more for you. We about to hear about the Haram-Akep, the Sphinx, and then the Pharonic headdress. I got nothing but knowledge for you. I'll be right back. And in closing, right thinkers, I'm enjoying this, and may all you live to be 100. Me 100 minus a day. So none of you all passed away. I'll be back with more goodies.